with 5-star, and we put one store out there, and then since then we've been kind of moving that forward.
So you're running two different businesses. There's the Best Buy business stores. If you've been, there's a big one in Shanghai. You see it. It looks just like what you would see here in the States. You got 5-star as well. So how is 5-star different than Best Buy store?
Right. So the Chinese business model is in consumer electronics is like probably like it was about 25 years ago here in the U.S., maybe 30 years here. It's driven by the vendor. The core industry is driven by the vendors. So the vendors basically find their own channels. And there isn't retailing as such. And retailing is just, taking off. Now, retailing as it exists, again, if I say that, I'm building an orthodoxy saying, there is retailing, but it's what you and I would call mom-and-pop retailing, or it's like Chinese, PC malls, etc. But what they call organized retailing, where there's efficiency built into the system, where suppliers expect a retailer to understand a consumer and literally reward them for understanding the consumer needs, etc., which is what happens here. Sony, Samsung, they assume that we know how to spend marketing money. We know where the customers are, where the profitable customers are. That's an expertise we've built as a retailer. That industry as such doesn't exist in China for consumer electronics, and hasn't really existed for, but what they do have is these big box like retailers like Gome and Suning, which is the two big players, where they have a big like box, meaning a big building, big box, where they basically have their little stands with their employees. That's the model. So 80–90% of the organized retail is that. It's 90%. That's what it is. So there's two things. One, we knew that model was something that was really hard to change, because you basically have a gross margin structure. This is very important to understand in our industry, if I can just